Good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another pre-market watch list today. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Oh, get that good. Whoo, almost did it again. Had the volume up again. I don't want to cause that echo for you guys. I forget to turn that off sometimes. Anyways, should be a good morning. We have ASNS. That's could be interesting. It's a penny stock that many of you guys know ran pretty wild yesterday, up about 300%. Well, hit highs of about 300% gain yesterday. So it's doing pretty well. It did pretty well yesterday on some merger news. So we'll be following that today. Unfortunately, I think the last time I checked, it was dropping a little bit pre-market, which is okay. Doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna just fall to the ground. So we're gonna be following ASNS today a little bit. It will pick up in volume a lot because of the day that it had yesterday. Everybody's gonna be following it today. So we'll definitely be watching that today as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the screen. 1 second. So we'll start here with ASNS. All right, so let me get some of the stuff off of here. All right, so to run you through this fairly quickly, we have ASNS, penny stock up about 300%, doing really well. If you can draw a trend line from yesterday's high point at 450 and down, you'll see that it's following that downwards trend line from yesterday's high a day going down. It's following that trend. It did have this little mini support built up here at about 360 that it just broke. Okay, so now it's below its support. Right now it's coming back up to 360 to try and retest the 360 mark. See if it can reclaim 360. If it can get back over 360, that's kind of a bullish sign, but if it starts rejecting at 360, that's not necessarily a good sign. All right, so following that closely. Now, let's say that it does start dropping out of the gates. There's a strong chance that there would be a reversal on it, so you could also mark off the levels of, let's see, $3. Okay, mark off the levels at $3. You could probably mark off the level here at 280, all the way down towards 260 and even the 250, right? So these levels down here are, the idea that if the stock just dumps, that it might bounce, have a short-term bounce on one of these levels. But as for right now, it is downtrending. The only way that this is going to go bullish is if ASNS can break over this downwards trend line. At that point, that's the only way it could go bullish. Based on the yearly chart, the stock does have room to run. There's really nothing too crazy stopping it from running. I think it could reach, if it really ran, it could reach highs of $5 to $7, I foresee. But again, that's if it keeps running. So it does have room that it could go up if it does really gain some footing here. So it's doing okay. Just watch it. Right now, it's still following its trend down. It's below its pre-market support levels. So something to keep on watch, okay? Next one on the list is going to be CRM. So CRM is an earnings play. It's a $135 stock. For some of you, that might not be the best, as it might be a little expensive. That's okay. But CRM, this has a beautiful looking gap. It's completely just basically consolidating to the side in an upwards manner. It is at a resistance point right now. It is getting up to some resistance levels here from about 140, 140 price is really some resistance. So if CRM can break over the 140 mark, I believe we could see it start having a good day, running up on the day. So this might be something you want to keep on watch for a long today. Also, do be cautious that it is up pretty big, and we could see it kind of sell off out of the gate and then come back to go on a run, because this is up really big. It went from 121, a low of 121, to a high of 140, basically. So that's a big gain. Some people might look to be selling this out of the gates, okay? A lot of people might be looking to sell this out of the gates, so you can keep that on watch for another long today. But what I'm getting at is don't be surprised if it does drop out of the gates first and then come back. Meaning if it starts dropping out of the gates, don't necessarily cut it out in terms of a long. It might just be pulling back out of the gates, washing out, some people taking in profits, and then you might see it start running up. Okay, so keeping an eye on this. Again, it has a lot of resistance coming up too. Okay, let's go to we'll do a 180-day chart. So right here, you can see by the 180-day chart, it's up to about or the 4-hour chart, it's up to about 140, and now it's coming into all this previous resistance. Excuse me. So it's coming up into a lot of previous resistance. So it's hard for me to really be crazy about the long just because I know we're at resistance, but with it being its earnings day, if it has the strength, I know we can start pushing up and still have a pretty good day. All right. Thank you. So CRM, definitely keep it on watch. Another thing you guys might want to watch is NTNX. NTNX is an earnings play. I'm not going to cover too much on that, but it is an earnings play that's gapping up pretty good this morning. You might want to keep a watch on that. And then another one is TIF, which is Tiffany's. Tiffany's had earnings today as well. And they have a pretty aggressive gap down here. That might be another one you guys want to watch, just pointing those out for you guys. NVIDIA, I'll look at NVIDIA real fast. Yeah, by the looks of it, it appears that NVIDIA would have somewhat of a pretty good day, just by the look of the chart. The market's moving higher. We got the market. Wow, market's up to 270. Wow. Hey, look at the bounce. That's interesting. That's good. 270. So yeah, the market's going up right now today. You got the S&P up pretty good. So yeah, it's arguable that a lot of this bullish movement on NVIDIA is also coming from the markets having a good day. But you're right, with the way NVIDIA's been down, we've been following it for quite some time. So this might be a day where we get in a piece of the long action. So yeah, keep NVIDIA on watch. I say that's a good one to keep on watch. DGAS tanking overnight. Is it a buy? I mean, not necessarily. No. If you're looking at DGAS just to buy DGAS, then you shouldn't be trading DGAS because DGAS is an ETF. Okay, it's an ETF. It's a velocity. It's a 3 times leveraged velocity ETF. Okay, based off of natural gas futures. It's, again, if you're going to trade DGAS, you have to completely understand how the natural gas futures work, or else you're just lost. So probably not. Based on what you said, I would assume you probably shouldn't buy it just because it's tanking. But yeah, it is dropping. It depends. So again, get comfortable with reading your natural gas futures charts and how they act and how the two ETFs, UGAS and DGAS, correlate with the natural gas futures, and then they'd be better at trading it. But no, I would not buy DGAS just because it broke down overnight. RGSC, yeah, so RGSC sold off yesterday. So it started doing what we were referring to yesterday. I believe we hopped on yesterday and told everybody to be careful of this today, as it probably start getting close to a sell. And sure enough, it came down. That's because it's already up. It already made its move. That's it. The bull move happened. Now the short move is in. So I would not be getting long on RGSC. I would not be buying RGSC right now. Is not a good time to buy. You can see that it hit right here. Right, look at this level. I just zoomed in right here. Okay, and then we'll zoom out. That was a resistance going straight across. You can see it hit right onto that level yesterday, and maybe just a little bit before. So down here, it was far away from resistance, so then it built up, ran right into the previous resistance zone. So now it's selling off. So again, a little overbought. Probably would hold off on trading RJSC in terms of a long for right now. LOXO, wasn't that an earnings? Am I correct? Yeah. Yeah, so LOXO, if you want to trade it, by all means, and it is a little bit lower volume, which is fine, but yeah, it moved from 153 down to 137, so that's a big day. Ooh. I wouldn't. Well, it's definitely starting. LOXL is definitely starting a downtrend. You can see it tested support yesterday, started bouncing. So you might have somewhat of like a green day, maybe some green attempt on the day, because you can see this previous support level. It started bouncing right there. So chances are it's going to have a little bit of a green day, I would say. Yeah. PCG. So PCG just had 2 really good days, which brought the price up right to. I would start watching PCG long. That's just about it. There's probably still a lot of people short of the stock that can get squeezed. So I would start watching. I would watch PCG long. It's one stock that I was following for a bit. Once it did its big short squeeze here and then it consolidated, I stopped watching it, waiting until it started moving green again. So I noticed it the other day, forgot to look at it yesterday. But I would say, start following it long bias. It fell from 49 to 17, so it's definitely got room to the upside that it could definitely grow for sure. Yeah, let's see what happened. I haven't even looked at GM after the news that hit, but it's something to follow. I don't really necessarily see them laying off workers. See, people have the wrong mindset here. Okay, GM laying off workers isn't. It's not good, but it's not bad. It would be worse for GM to actually keep employees on if they aren't making enough money to pay them out, without hurting. It's not good for business, but it is good for business. So in the short term, yeah, there might be like a little panic, but in the long term, it is better for them in a sense to, keep strong business going and keep the balance or keep the revenue and to keep a strong business, right? You'll have to make tough decisions of possibly laying people off. Okay. It's just normal. It's normal, right? And everybody thinks it's crazy, right? Everyone thinks that this happens all the time. When it comes to car companies, this happens. This is normal, okay? You want to know when this happens? You want to know when this sort of thing happens? It happens when people aren't buying cars. When nobody's buying cars, they don't need any cars to be made. And that's when they shut plants down. It's happened before. Yeah, you could argue that some of it, and some people are coming out saying it's because of tariffs imposed and steel, and maybe that plays an effect, but this is nothing new that nobody's ever seen before. It happens. They stop selling cars, or they're not selling enough, and they have no need to keep those plants open to manufacture those cars at that time because nobody is buying them and they have plenty of them. That's what happens. And that's the same thing. They're not selling the they're not going to be selling the electric, what is it? Is it called the Volt? Chevy Volt? Something like that. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, they're not going to be selling the Chevy Volt anymore, and everyone's freaking out. And the reason they're not going to be selling the Chevy Volt is because nobody buys it. They're not making money off of it. It's a bad business right there. For their business, a Chevy Volt is bad. They're not making any money off the car, and they're not selling the car, and that's why they're discontinuing. They're not going to be using. Right? So nobody buys electric, right? Let me right? And then that was also twisted. That was twisted too. That they're not making the Chevy Volt anymore because they're trying to put more money into this area of development for autonomous driving cars and things like. It's like no. The fact of the matter is nobody buys that electric vehicle car. It's fine. Come out and say it. People like buying trucks. Right now, truck sales are through the roof. More people are buying trucks than ever. Okay? Gas is dirt cheap right now. Extremely cheap. That truck that used to take $100 a fill up is now only taking $60 a fill up. And if prices keep getting lower in gas, more people will too drive trucks, and they'll drive them more often. When the price of gas is low, people can afford it. When it's not, then people go, oh, crap, I can't afford it. So when it's costing $300 to fill up a car, yeah, there's going to be a major shift to electric because nobody can afford the gasoline anymore. But as long as gas is cheap, oil is cheap, people will buy gasoline driving cars, okay? And that's what's going to happen. Technology is getting very advanced. We're finding ways to mine oil that we've never been able to do before. Again, look it up. America's actually doing some pretty phenomenal things in terms of natural gas, oil, and oil exports. I think we're actually starting, I could be wrong, I have to double check. It's been a while since I've looked up on it. But I think we're now becoming one of the biggest producers of oil in the world. So that's another reason why you're going to see our gas prices dropping dramatically as well in the future. So again, there's some things to look into, and I know there's some oil things going over in the Middle East, right? It seems like there's always problems over there with oil, but anyways, you guys get the point. Yeah, so again, electric, it has an amazing purpose. Like electric cars, by all means, like I'm all for it, right? I'm all for like electric because it makes sense, right? But we're just not there as a society, as an economy. We're not there yet. So you can't really force that hand yet, right? It doesn't make sense. Businesses are losing money on electric cars. There's no point in them selling them, right? When people are flooding your gates to buy trucks, you can't hand them an electric mouse car, right? So anyways, enough of that. You guys get the point. So, with GM, I think it's a short-term thing. I think time will tell here because, the layoffs of the plants could be the start of, again, people start buying less. When consumerism starts slowing, those are signs of recessions coming too, potentially, right? So if people are not buying cars, right, or some of these cars, right, that could be a signal. Another thing is trucks, like really big, expensive semi-trucks. Like the really expensive ones, like a couple $100,000. When those sales drop and they're not selling any more of those cars, that's usually a strong sign that a recession's on the way. And right now, I think Ford and like GM are selling like very like minimum, like nothing. They're selling no new like big semi trucks. So the manufacturing side of that business has slowed dramatically, which could be another sign that we could be heading into a recession. So there's some things to think about, right? There's always so many reasons as to why or possibly. I mean, like, it's all up to you to figure out your own thesis. But again, look that up. Yeah, big truck sales, like massive truck sales, usually just go like this right before recessions, right? Every time. So something to think about. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. CRM, ASNS, NTNX, Tiffany's all had, a few of those had earnings, and the other one's a penny stock. Should be some volatile days there with those ones. So anyways, guys, take care. I hope you guys have a great day. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. So stay tuned for other videos, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right, take care.